Hey everybody, it's me, Angela Walters, and welcome to this week's live chat. Super excited to be here chatting with everybody, talking about quilting stuff and just having a great time. So, sorry about last week. I was meaning to be here. Sorry, I'm just making sure everything was going good. Sorry about last week's live chat. I was unable to make it, so just moved it to this week. And we won't have a live chat next Thursday because that's Thanksgiving, but I'm excited to be here talking today. And this is kind of a different type of live chat. Normally, if you watch any of them, you know I like to talk about quilting techniques or show you pictures, but it's just been crazy busy around here. So today's live chat is going to be updates and upcoming events. So just kind of a mishmash of things that I want to share and answer your questions live. As always, Jessica's here watching behind the screen, looking at the comments and questions. So if you're watching live, leave a comment and I'll answer the question at the end. And if you are watching live, I have a giveaway at the end of this live chat. So I'm giving away a floral frames panel and a couple of patterns, and we'll see why here in just a second. But all you have to do to win is leave a comment, and Jessica will pick a lucky winner at the end of the chat. She does take Venmo, so if you want to try to buy your winning, no, I'm just kidding. So if you're not watching live, so sorry, but if you are watching, go ahead and leave a comment on there. I also have a couple questions I'll answer, so we'll just kind of get right into it. Just a little bit, like I said, a little bit of everything. First thing, exciting, most of the products for the next Free Motion Challenge Quilting Along have come in. So if you placed an order, chances are you're going to be getting it pretty soon. So we're starting to send those out, cutting our brains out and stacking orders, and we're just having a good time. So that's why we haven't been, so it's been busy. So anyway, if you have not ordered for that, any of the exclusive products, it's not too late. We do have some stuff in stock still. So if you want to grab that, you can definitely do that. There's links to all the stuff I'm going to tell you in the description box below. So what this is for, if you're wondering, you're like, what is she even talking about? This is for the upcoming Free Motion Challenge Quilting Along, where we're going to learn how to master the swirl design. I love doing these free video series as a way to practice machine quilting together, and it's just a great way to work on a technique together. And so that's going to start January 7th is when that first video is going to come out. I thought, you know what, let's get past the crazy holiday season and get right to it. But you can go ahead and order your products now and have it ready to go. Now, if you've not participated in a Free Motion Challenge Quilting Along, you are going to have a great time. So it's absolutely free to participate. It's right here on my YouTube channel and on my website, quiltingismytherapy.com. And we work together through a technique or design, and this time will be swirls. I'll be showing how to do it on a sewing machine and a long arm and have free quilting diagrams. I mean, there really is no reason to not quilt along with me. So whether you're a brand new machine quilter, you barely have touched your free motion quilting foot, or a more established quilter just, wanting some design inspiration, this free video series is definitely gonna be for you. So check it out, click the link in the description box, or visit quiltingismytherapy.com because that's coming January 7th. And there's always, when I'm putting together the Free Motion Challenge, there's always these milestones that we hit. So launching the challenge, which we did last month, is a big milestone. But then getting the product and getting the bulk of the orders out feels really good. So excited to hit that milestone, and then we'll have it start. So it's just kind of a fun process. Secondly, I did a live chat a couple months ago about this quilt. So this is an English paper pieced quilt that I did, and I kind of took pictures throughout to show you how it was going and how it all came about. And people kept asking, do you have the pattern? And I didn't, but now we do. So if you want to try your hand at that EPP quilt I showed in a previous live chat, we do have some of the Radiance pattern in stock. Now, what I love about it, and I don't have any to show you, but they're plastic pieces. So they're EpiFlex. They're like thin plastic. So if you're into EPP, it's really a cool thing to fussy cut and work with. So, and that pattern gives you a 20-inch circle. So you can check that out. Again, updates and upcoming events. So, hey, you know what's coming up besides Thanksgiving for those of you in the US, it's the Black Friday sale. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do that this year. Let's give some stuff away really cheap. And I decided I would make early access for the live chat. So you can go get live all of the Black Friday stuff now before stuff runs out. Get kind of first dibs on the goodies. So this is all on quiltingismytherapy.com. And it was really kind of fun, Jessica and I kind of deciding, ooh, like, what are we going to put on sale? What would we want to buy if we were doing something? So Click the link in the description box and you'll see all of the Black Friday events, but we have select kits up to 50% off. There's some really good deals on there. If I didn't already own them, I probably would buy them again. We have some fat quarter bundles on sale for up to 40% off, and then fabrics starting at $5.99 a yard. So all, great fabrics. It's just, we're like, oh, maybe it's time to move this through. Another thing we have is that large floral frames panel I was telling you. This is kind of like our big deal of the Black Friday. So it's only $19.99, regularly $59.99. You know how some sites or some like websites will have the oops, we made too much. This would be the oops, we made too much section. So you can get that for super cheap. If you've been wanting to try a free motion challenge, it's actually from the Floral Frames Free Motion Challenge. See if I can say that 10 times fast. But you can check that out throughout that video series. I kind of talk about how to quilt borders and background areas. And when you're done, you have this beautiful quilt. So again, that's kind of the deal. And then patterns. All the patterns are on sale. Digital downloads, the regular patterns from Midnight Quilter and all the things. So some pretty good deals to be had. I don't know about you all, but I do love the Black Friday shopping, and I do love it online. I've never been one to go out and do the crowds. I know Jessica and I used to do that back in the day, and you just become a certain age. You're like, I don't want to fight for it. I'll just get it online. So be sure to check that out. Again, that's just going to run through next weekend, but you kind of get early dibs on it. Just click the link in the description box below. All right, upcoming events. So this is kind of like what's going on around here in the Kansas City area with our quilt shop. Now, I know not everybody can make it out here to see me. I totally understand. But if you have some travel plans or you're able to make it to the area, I've got some really fun classes coming up. Something we did this year, kind of like one of the big achievements of this year, was putting together our Long Arm Education Center and having a room full of long arms to use for different things. And we started that earlier, towards the end of the summer, and now I'm adding the next batch of classes in, so starting kind of next year. So if you've wanted to come take a class or come check out our event center, one of these things will be a great way to do that. First of all, we have our winter retreat coming up in February. Now, this is not long arm specific. This is just let's get together and sew and eat and have a great time. And what's fun about the retreats is I always have these kind of, last time I did it, I had a little breakout session on the long arms. So just a way to incorporate both, but a real fun way to get together. And gosh, I just love getting together and sewing with other quilters. It's just the best. All right, also a new event I added, the Long Arm Boot Camp. That'll be coming up March 14th and 15th. This is a 2-day hands-on, all about long arms, quilting with rulers, how to load the quilts, how to do free motion basics and that kind of stuff. You do not have to have a handy quilter long arm. You don't even have to have a long arm to participate. This is kind of like, all the stuff that I wish I'd known when I had started out. And what's pretty fun about having this venue or getting to try out some new classes or things I haven't had the opportunity to do before. And so we actually hosted our first long arm boot camp 2 weekends ago, I think, recently, and it was a blast. Getting to talk about long arming specifically and to kind of deep dive into it was a lot of fun, and I think everybody seemed to have fun too. I mean, nobody left crying, so I'm sure that was a good sign that everything was fine. So just some pictures from our last long arm boot camp. Handy Quilter gave me some big scissors when I did a talk for them and a keynote for them, and then they were using my big scissors, kind of funny. So fun to be had there as well. So again, just really kind of fun to get some hands-on work. But if you don't need hands-on or like the basics, if you're like, no, I want to learn how to quilt some designs, then the Long Arm Clinic is for you. I literally just put this on the website like an hour ago, and the calendar was empty, so I'm hoping that we're good to go. No, I'm just kidding. These are all on the website, all the classes. One thing I've decided to do is start having the long arm classes together in groups. That was one of the things I got as feedback from the boot camp. For those of you that are coming out of town, like if you're going to come in town, can we do multiple classes at one time? So this long arm clinic will be 4 days of hands-on classes, and you can pick and choose which one you want to come in. And that's starting April 1st. No April Fool's jokes on April Fool's Day, but you can decide if you want to come take some hands-on classes. All the classes are here at our event center with the long arm showroom. It's all 2 people to a machine, so plenty of time for hands-on work. And the first one is going to be Intro to Long Arm Quilting. So that's just going to be a 1-day class, and it's kind of like, what are the basics of long arming? How do I load a quilt? It's kind of like the boot camp, but not 2 days. It's like a little bit more condensed. So perfect, if you have never used a long arm, if you want to, get a refresher or kind of just pick my brain about it. So that's going to be kind of fun. And then April 2nd, we're going to do dot-to-dot quilting. So that will be a class. Of course, you can register, click the link in the description box below. The reason I love dot-to-dot quilting, well, we've done a free motion challenge quilting along about it. It's such a versatile technique, but I'm also going to teach long arming with rulers at the same time. So if you've wanted to learn how to do some straight edge rulers and create some block designs, this is going to be a fun class. Definitely one of my favorite to teach. Although I say that, but every class I show, I'm like, no, wait, that's my favorite to teach. So it's just fun getting to pick the classes out. All right, April 3rd, we're going to do motifs and more. So we're going to talk about how to long arm different styles of motifs in different areas of your quilts. And then April 4th is going to be kind of a new to me class, next level long arm quilting, where we're going to talk about, okay, you know what to do, but how do we do it in the most efficient way and create some cool effects? Now, this one's a little bit different because it's kind of abstract, but just hang out with me here. What we're going to talk about is like, how do I approach the borders on a long arm, and how do I do it in a way that's efficient? And so we'll learn some designs, but we'll also learn some technique to take away with it. So kind of like, all right, now what do I do kind of thing. And so I can't wait to pull that all together. That's going to be a blast. So anyway, those classes are coming up. And then be sure to check out the website or stay in touch because I have more events coming soon. More retreats, more classes, lots of more fun stuff. More fun, lots more stuff. So I'm excited to get to do that for sure. All right, last thing, and then I'm going to answer your questions and do the giveaway. We just recently launched a new website. Yay! That's actually been a couple months ago, and it's taken about this long to smooth most everything out. There's been some bumps on the road. It's like moving to a new house. Like, the moving is going to be horrible, but once you get settled, it'll be great. So, but one of the things on the website that we have now is quilting services. So our quilt shop here in downtown Liberty does machine quilting for customers, edge-to-edge computer-guided quilting. And now we have the ability to take in quilts from other areas. So you can actually go online, do the whole process, and send us your quilt if you need to get it done. Listen, I love the machine quilting, and I think you should love it as much as I do. But the truth of the matter is, not everybody loves it. Or maybe you have a project that's too big, or you want to get it done quicker, or whatever. So you can check that out. Just click the link in the description box below. But what's pretty cool is they kind of worked up for us a quilt quoter is what we call it. And so where you can actually input your dimensions, you can pick your stuff, and then get your exactly how you want it done. So after entering your dimensions, and you can pick out your designs, and then you can pick out your thread color. And if you want, it's optional, you can pick out your backing fabric too. So then you mail us the quilt. My employees do an amazing job, and then we send it back to you. So again, I know that not everybody loves machine quilting as much as I do, so it's a fun kind of option to have there. Now, like I said, I know this is kind of a mishmash, a lot of things put together, but just some important upcoming things and updates I wanted you to have. So a couple questions that came through on the type chat before we started. I love getting onto the live chat before I go live, and we type and we just chit chat, and I feel like I know most of you on there, which is kind of fun. But somebody asked on the type chat, what's my preferred batting to use, because they're trying to decide what to put in their challenge quilt. So when it comes to batting, I think the most important thing is that it's a quality batting, right? I mean, you want to have something in there that's, made well. Some of my older quilts are bearding because the batting was so cheap that I put in it, which is fine. It's kind of fun to pull it out, but definitely want to go with quality batting. Other than that, it's really like a subjective choice. I like to use poly batting because it resists creasing. And so it doesn't wrinkle as much when I fold it up or put it wherever it needs to go, but it still has a nice drape to it. So that's kind of my preference. But if you want a more cuddly, crinkly, soft quilt, you can go with a cotton batting. Would be a great option as well. I know for the challenge, though, if you're making your own quilt sandwich, we do sell fusible batting, and it's an 80-20 blend. So it has a little bit of both worlds in it. Beyond what it's made of, then you have to kind of decide which loft do you want to go with. And the loft just refers to how, high it is. The more loft your batting has, the more definition your quilting is going to have. But it's also going to be a little bit thicker and can be a little bit harder to push through the machine if you're quilting on your sewing machine. So kind of finding that happy medium right there. But ultimately, as long as it's a quality batting, you're not going to be unhappy with the choice. So hopefully that helps. It's kind of like one of those things I know that a lot of quilters are like, just tell me the rule, right? Just give me what to do. But with most things in quilting, it's a subjective choice. So whatever you want to do there. All right, Terry also asked about using flannel on the back of the challenge panel. She said, I'm thinking about using flannel. What are your thoughts? Flannel backing is perfect for a quilt. It's so snuggly. I mean, I'm sure you know if you've ever snuggled up under a flannel quilt, it is great. It quilts up just like cotton. The only thing that can be a little bit more difficult, not even difficult, just a little thing to think about, is it might be a little bit heavier and a little bit harder to push through. But the great thing about the challenge panel is it's not overly large. So it's not like you're doing this motion push with a king size quilt. So ultimately, flannel will be a really fun option on the back. So, all right, do we have any questions? Good news, UPS and USPS was here to pick up all the packages. If you hear them yelling, that's what they're doing. All right, a couple questions that came up, and then I'll do the giveaway. And just wanted to tell you guys thank you for hanging out with me. I don't take it for granted that you would spend, 30 minutes every Thursday talking with me. It's just a good time. All right, do I pin my quilts together before I quilt them? So if I'm working on a sewing machine, I will baste my quilt sandwich. I don't use pins because I kind of look at them like speed bumps, which is not the best way to look at it. But I don't use pins. I use the fusible batting, but pins are great as well. So basically, however you can get those 3 layers together, that's all that matters. So when on a sit down, do I start in the middle of a quilt? So when I'm working on a sewing machine or a sit down long arm, where do I start the quilting process? You can start anywhere you want. Once you've stabilized your quilt sandwich and you've put all your pins or your fusible on there, it's good to go. For the most part, though, I like to start in the center of the quilt because it's never going to be heavier than it is at that point. So for me, it's kind of like I'm doing the hardest part for me first, but ultimately you can start anywhere you want. Now, in this challenge, we're going to kind of be working our way around in different areas. And so we'll be starting close to the center, but not exactly in the center. Is there anything for men to do around your shop? That's awesome. Oh, like to do around, like if they come visit. I thought like chores wise. I'm like, I mean, anybody can come sweep, mop. That's really where my first thought went. Yes. So one of the cool things about where our shop is located is it's in an adorable historic downtown area. So Liberty, Missouri is a suburb of Kansas City. And so you fly into Kansas City Airport. And when you're on the downtown square, this historic area, you feel like you're in a little town. There's a lot of cute little things, like there's museums, there's a brewery, there's shops, there's restaurants. There's a lot of history around here. But it's still within the bigger suburb. So I like to say, you feel like you're in a little town, but you're only 10 minutes from a super Target and other shopping. So there's plenty to do in the area. Depending on how long you need him occupied, we could send him to a Chiefs game or something, and that will definitely give you plenty of time. Great questions. Okay, so if you placed your order, just to recap, we're starting to ship out. They have not all shipped, but they are making their way. And so Happy Mail will be coming soon. If you haven't placed your order, it's not too late. So click the link in the description box to do that. And the lucky winner for the panel and patterns is Pamela Green. So Pamela, email us at customerservice@quiltingismytherapy.com and we will mail you off your little goodies. For those of you that are in the U.S. or that celebrate, happy Thanksgiving next week. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you back here in 2 weeks on that Thursday, and we'll talk something quilting related. I haven't decided yet what, but I'm sure it will be amazing. Until then, everybody.